What happens if my asylum case is denied? Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our office here in St. Louis, Missouri. Hope you're doing well. Sometimes our clients wonder what will happen after they file their asylum case and they have their hearing with the asylum officer and their case is denied. They want to know, do I have to leave and go back home to my home country right away? The answer is no. What happens when your asylum case is rejected or denied by the asylum officer is that they send it to the immigration court. It's called a referral, and they refer it to the immigration court for a hearing on whether or not the immigration judge believes that you have demonstrated that you will suffer persecution if you return to your home country. So unlike the interview at the asylum office, which is non-confrontational and is just the asylum officer asking you questions, at this stage of things you're sent to the local or the closest immigration court, and there's going to be a judge, an immigration judge, who works for the Executive Office for Immigration Review, and it's his or her job to decide whether or not you get to stay and receive asylum or whether you have to return home, and that process can take quite some time. So in that situation, there's also a DHS attorney, the Office of Chief Counsel. Their job is to poke holes in your case and to try to keep you from getting asylum. So they will go over your prior asylum application with a fine-tooth comb, looking for inconsistencies or things to cross-examine you about, and they're basically trying to get your asylum case denied. The immigration judge will have a hearing. It'll take a couple of hours. You'll be able to provide testimony and bring in witnesses to demonstrate that you do in fact fear persecution in your home country and that you are entitled and eligible for asylum. The immigration judge typically doesn't rule right there during the hearing, and you'll eventually get a written decision from the immigration court either granting or denying your request for asylum. At that point, if your asylum is again denied, you still don't necessarily have to leave, as you can appeal to the Board of Immigration Appeals. And after your case is heard at the Board of Immigration Appeals, if you want to appeal, you can appeal to the circuit court for the jurisdiction that you live in. So there are 11 circuit courts across the country. The 50 states all fall into one of those 11 circuit courts, and that can have a real impact on whether or not your asylum case is ultimately approved. And the reason for that is that the circuit courts take very different views of asylum cases, and there's a lot of case law in the Ninth Circuit, which is sort of on the West Coast, that really is helpful to the immigrant. And then in St. Louis, where our main office is, the Eighth Circuit hasn't ruled in favor of an immigrant in a very long time. So where you live can definitely impact that. So of course, if you lose at the circuit court level, the one last shot that you have is to file a writ of certiorari with the United States Supreme Court. And that is very much a long shot. The Supreme Court receives thousands and thousands of these writs, these applications for relief every year, and they only hear about 130, 140 cases overall, and probably 3 or 4 of those cases are going to be immigration cases at all. So if you don't win at the immigration judge level, if you don't win in immigration court, you're going to have a really hard road to hoe. One other thing to keep in mind is if you do win at the immigration court, the government does have the right to appeal to the Board of Immigration Appeals. So you might win at the immigration court and then lose on appeal, but typically the whole shooting match and the vast majority of asylum cases that are decided in immigration court, the result reached by the immigration judge is ultimately upheld. So you really want to make sure to put on your strongest evidence. You want to put on your strongest case, make sure that you have good arguments and good proof of persecution if you return back home. So if you have any questions about immigration appeals, about asylum, and how the appeal process works in the asylum context, be sure to give us a call at 314-961-8200. If you like this video, make sure that you click on the like button below, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so that you can get further updates as they come out. Thanks a lot and have a great day.